You know what's not a secret? I like food. I love food. Do you like food?
Yes, sometimes.
And when we went to the UK, we was amazed by the food that was there. Everything tastes so fresh, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
It tasted amazing. It tasted like, I don't know, just like everything tasted like your grandmother cooked it. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying it was like just fresh tasting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't seem like we used frozen anything. And that's the thing here in America. We use frozen everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one thing that I can say that I did not like about the UK was McDonald's.
Yeah, it was too fresh.
It tasted too fresh. You're going to want them chemicals when you're eating a McDonald's hamburger. When you come over here, you'll see the difference. But
I wonder what they think of our McDonald's.
oh, they're not ready for our McDonald's. It takes a special, like a cyborg or something.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like, we're literally with a McDonald's food, we are a part machine.
Yeah.
We are Terminator, a diabetic Terminator. That's exactly what we are. So that was one of the biggest conversations we had coming home was just the food quality. And we thought it'd be awesome to look up, like, check a video out and say, why is our food so different?
Yeah.
And why do you guys hate on our food so much? Because every time we do a video, you guys hate our food. And you guys say it's all chemicals. We like our chemicals. That's how superheroes are made.
Exactly.
Okay? We'll have a superhero or get our foot cut off from diabetes long before you will. It's a risk we're willing to take. So today we're checking out a video by Dr. Livingood. And his video is food in the USA compared to the UK and why it's so different. So hit the like button, hit subscribe, and oh wait, no. We are right now over here filming for our Patreon page.
Yep.
We are launching a Patreon page, and I'm going to look over here and say, hi Patreon. And if you're a Patreon of ours, you will see this video of how we created this video from start to finish. So if you guys want to check it out, if you want to support the channel, head over and join our Patreon page. The link will be down below on the video, not under this table. So let's start the video.
You know that if you were to buy certain food ingredients at a grocery store in the United Kingdom, in Europe, and in America, same brand, same type chip, a packaged good, you could buy the exact same brand of food and the ingredient labels will be completely different.
And shorter.
I believe this is one of the main reasons why the United States is so sick. What I'm about to show you of what we allow into our products compared to what is happening in other parts of the world is shocking. And it's kind of shameful for the government regulation or lack thereof that goes into this and the foods you're about to see of what is making us so sick in America, leading the way in chronic disease. So this is one of the things that really opened my eyes to how food companies, especially in America, are just exploiting us. I've spent years investigating this and the difference between European and American food and the products and what I found that I'm about to show you, it disgusted me. So back in 2012, I went to the London Olympics. I got the privilege to be an Olympic team doctor and support the athletes leading up to it for the wrestling team and weightlifting team.
Cool.
And got to be at the Olympic House and see many of them win medals. And it's a fantastic experience. And Nurse Livingood, my wife, got to go with me and we raised money for these athletes and helped support them. It's amazing how little support some of the athletes don't get. But while I was over there, I got to experience European food. And I noticed there was a big difference on some simple foods in a convenience store, in a grocery store, compared to the ones back in America. So right now we're going to break down some of the pictures, comparing them from a before or after. Now, this resource I came across with food.
All right, before he does that, what was your major? Did you notice anything major when you went over there?
Yeah. The drinks right off the bat, like, they just didn't taste. They tasted the same, but they didn't linger in your throat or like on the back of your tongue.
Yeah, I think it was like corn syrup.
And that was a better thing to me, to not linger. And like orange soda.
Yeah, The orange soda was a completely different color.
Yeah.
And it actually, believe it or not, Fanta Orange in America and Fanta Orange in Europe is a completely different drink.
Mm-hmm.
So our Fanta is a neon orange and it's a imitation orange flavor, as to where Fanta in the UK, which I'm assuming in Europe too, was more of a more of like an orange juice,
Yeah.
like a carbonated orange juice.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
it was the color of orange juice, not neon.
Yeah, it was the color of orange juice, as to where ours is neon orange. It was the color of a orange safety cone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I came across with Food Babe, who does a fantastic job of putting them side by side, but it's the exact same thing that I saw and confirmed when I was over there at the Olympics, looking at these companies like Kraft Heinz, Kellogg's, Pepsi Company, Quaker. They sell safer, better products overseas while making inferior versions right here in America, feeding it to Americans.
You know, and that's really insane because this is their home country.
Yeah, why are they trying to?
They're
that.
poisoning us, and our government allows it to happen. That makes me so mad. I'm sure he's going to go over, but there's certain things that, like, we donate to help stopping and fighting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost feel like an idiot doing it because it's like the government's like, yeah, come on, together we're going to stop, stop cancer. But at the same time, the government's like, yeah, General Mills, if you want to throw that dye in there, go ahead.
Yeah.
As long as it's cheap and you can make money,
Mm-hmm.
forget about it. And then on the other side, what are we doing?
Like if they know how to make it a safer way, why bother making it the bad way? Shouldn't it just be the safer way for everyone?
It's all about money in this country.
Yeah.
It's all about money. Your health be damned. It's enough, like, as an American, to make you mad. Like, it really does.
The evidence that you're about to see runs the gamut from fast food places to boxed cake mixes to cereals to candies, even oatmeal. You can't escape it. So this is what set me down this path of calling out big food industries, calling out big pharma industries, but leading you guys to make food simple. And I've never looked back, of trying to figure out what's causing us to be so sick instead of waiting for people to get sick or exploiting sick people like big pharma and big food has done. Check these out. Here are 6 products that are completely different overseas than they are in America. Let's start with the big one, McDonald's French fries. They make their iconic French fries in the UK with a few simple ingredients: potatoes, oil, dextrose, salt. But in the US, completely different label. They're made with natural beef flavor, they're made with sodium, they're made with pyrophosphate, and they are fried in oil laced with anti-foaming agents.
Potatoes, vegetable oil, canola, corn, soybean, hydrolyzed soybean, natural beef flavors. So I remember the one thing, like if you ever watch any history of McDonald's, and it's the biggest fast food chain on the planet, so you probably would educate yourself at one point. When they got their start, it literally would set them off different is they fried their French fries in beef tallow.
Oh.
And that's why you see on our side natural beef flavor, because instead of just continuing using beef tallow, which is probably, I couldn't say that would be expensive for McDonald's now, because look how many hamburgers they're putting out.
Yeah.
Where does the fat go? I mean, how many, they have their own farms.
It's their real hamburgers.
Well, yeah, I mean, they
I don't
say-
know.
But you're looking like this right here. Dithlopoxylate solid. You can't even say that word.
No.
You can't even phosphate. This is the McDonald's is fries in the UK. And you know what's crazy? Is even in McDonald's in the UK, they're like, McDonald's is not good for you.
Yeah.
If that McDonald's is not good for you, then what the hell is this one?
I seen something that they're saying about bringing beef tallow back.
to McDonald's.
I don't know if it's sure enough, but that's what I seen.
They need to do something. This country, when it comes to food, this country's in a rough shape.
I think it's all going to change.
Hopefully.
Anti-foaming agents. That's the main ingredient in silly putty. But why is it ending up in our food?
Oh, wow.
They've somehow figured out to cook their fries without all these extra ingredients overseas, but why not here? Begs the question. Second one to look at, Quaker Oats. These instant oat packets. Did you know Quaker Oats strawberries and cream has 0 strawberries?
What?
In the U.S., Quaker mimics the look and the taste of real strawberries. What they use is flavored and colored fruit pieces. They're comprised of dehydrated apples, and then they use artificial strawberry flavoring, citric acid, and artificial dye, red number 40, which would cause concentration issues. It's total craziness.
What?
It's not
It's
even
not
a
even real strawberry?
Meanwhile, in the UK, Quaker doesn't even attempt to sell that garbage. It doesn't make any products like
And
that.
even in that red 40,
Yeah.
that's a problematic diet. Look, and that's one thing you're not going to see because those are, I think that's scary enough as it is because you know how we say red or yellow dye?
So theirs has real strawberries and raspberries in it.
Yeah.
Ours don't.
But you know that reduced iron, hydrochloride, folic acid, thiamine nitrate, the stuff that they put
But
in.
folic acid is a vitamin, so that's a good thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know if you should really be putting more into food than what it naturally gives.
Well, folic acid is like in a prenatal vitamin, I think.
Yeah, in a vitamin, but like it's like this right here. Your body builds testosterone. If you're shooting testosterone, if you're low, then you're fine. But if you're shooting these things in when you don't really need them, because like in my mind, and I might be wrong, but I feel like this is more of a science experiment. That folic acid is probably not in there because it's good for you and we want to add more vitamins for the American people. I'm thinking that folic acid either makes it thicker, makes you fill up faster so they don't have to put as much in, or it counteracts something else in there so they don't get sued.
Probably.
That's my realm of thinking. That's what I think is going to happen.
The closest counterpart that they have is a product called Oat So Simple that has real strawberries in it, and it's light years ahead of the popular US version that's made with all those toxic artificial dyes and artificial colorings. Number 3 is Mountain Dew. Now, none of these foods are healthy. I don't advise eating them, and some of you can just
do
say
like
the
Baja
comment of
Blast,
like,
though.
well, I
Is
just
that
shouldn't
what
eat
it
them
is?
anyway. But I'm just
Baja Blast?
comparing
Yeah, it's so good.
how are they approved overseas, and here we're allowed to put all this garbage in there. I mean, you pick up a bottle of Mountain Dew in the UK, and you'll find that it gets its bright yellow color simply from beta carotene. It's a natural color derived from carrots and other plants. Meanwhile, Pepsi, who makes Mountain Dew, sells a very different version of Mountain Dew in America. Here in the States, instead of using natural colors to give it that bright popping look, Mountain Dew is artificially colored with a petroleum-based dye called Yellow Number 5. Major problems with reproductive issues and allergens with that. Now, artificial dyes are common in America, but that doesn't make them okay to eat. They've been linked to several health.
You know what's crazy about soda, right? Is like soda was first invented to help take medicine.
Really?
Yeah, like and all the sodas was supposed to be like when they first came out, like Coke had a little bit of
Coke in it.
had a little bit of Columbia in it, and I mean you could just have a sip of Coke and you could just take on the day at that point. You know what I mean? You could take on the week. You'd mow your, you know what I mean? Like, you ever notice that? Like all the older people sitting there, it's like in my day we wouldn't sit around because you was high.
Yeah.
You just drank Coke all day and did cartwheels. I never got tired. You was high.
I mean, the food was different. Like all of it. I don't think all of it was that bad, and their drinks had drugs in it. So
Yeah, your drinks, I would say it's cocaine, but it was boiled down to put in. It boiled down, we have a word for boiled down cocaine. It's called crack. Grandpa, you had so much energy and ambition because you was on crack.
yeah.
Mountain Dew is artificially colored with a petroleum-based dye called yellow number 5. Major problems with reproductive issues and allergens with that. Now, artificial dyes are common in America, but that doesn't make them okay to eat. They've been linked to several health issues, like I just explained, as well as they're known carcinogens, some of them. They're certainly not as safe as beta carotene, but Mountain Dew, that story gets worse. The US version of Mountain Dew also contains brominated vegetable oil, BVO.
Nice.
And that ingredient is banned in Europe. Way back in 2014, Pepsi said, okay, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to remove BVO from all the American drinks, following a real successful petition that was put on. But they still have not removed it from Mountain Dew, nearly, this many years later. They continue to sell the BVO-free version in other countries, and they allow us to stay sick and toxic. Number 4, Heinz ketchup. The kind you're going to find in almost every restaurant in America.
Like,
Heinz ketchup is GMO-free in the United Kingdom, but full of genetically modified organisms and high fructose corn syrup in the United States, along with lab-produced natural flavorings, which not all of them are bad, but from a company like this, they're bad. And it helps create an addiction to the product.
Ew,
think of that the next time
ketchup.
you're dipping your fries and you can't stop eating that
sugar.
ketchup.
That's gross
Now,
to me.
Heinz is attempting to make a simply Heinz version ketchup
Here's the
in the
thing.
United States.
Here's the thing. There's only so many companies, and they're not worried about you hitting up Heinz ketchup, right? So there's so many companies in here, and there's only so many. There's and you see like General Mills and all that, but they're owned by a parent company, and it goes up like a pyramid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't want you to be addicted to that. They want you to be addicted to a sweetness that a homemade cake or a homemade cookie just can't do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That you're going to crave that candy bar, that you're going to crave that bag of chips, that you're going to crave. So it's not so much as that. It's a gambit that they got on, or like this monopoly that they got on all Americans, that we are so addicted to stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't even know why. That's why you see so many people in a conversation in America. And when you talk to Americans, they all say the same thing. I hate McDonald's. I don't want to eat at McDonald's. I think McDonald's is gross. 2 days later, you see their car going through the drive-thru. Because I genuinely think it's to a point that they've got us like cattle,
Mm-hmm.
or like Pavlov's dogs, that when that bell rings, we have to have it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
States with natural flavorings and cleaner ingredients. Why don't they just make the same one that they use over in the UK as their regular ketchup? There's no need for all the heavy processing, but they want to get you more addicted to it, so you'll buy more of it. It's a problem. Number 5, Doritos. Now, both versions of Doritos are horrible, but the American Doritos are covered in artificial dyes. They're all made from petroleum, the red number 40, the blue number 1, the yellow number 5, super toxic. The dyes have been found to be contaminated with carcinogens, such as benzidine. Benzenes can create some really ugly blood cancers if overconsumed.
Wow.
In the UK, these dyes require a warning label that they may have adverse effects on the activity and attention in children, let alone other side effects. So no company wants to put that on their product because people won't buy it, so they just don't use the artificial dyes. Instead, they simply use things like paprika extract and annatto in order to get the flavoring. The Doritos in the UK are also non-genetically modified, while the American versions are made up of GMO corn, contaminated with glyphosate, that herbicide, weed killer, and then laced with all these chemicals. Finally, number 6, Frosted Flakes. The jingle, the tiger, the mighty, mighty tiger. I mean, I ate them as a kid. I get it. There's no nutritional value going on here. But at first glance, the Frosted Flakes in the United States and the UK, they look nearly identical. But there's one big difference. There's a preservative in the US version called BHT. Now, this is important because there's a lot of controversial research linking BHT to cancer. And it's believed to also be an endocrine disruptor, which means it's going to mess with your hormones, men and women. And it's not even permitted in cereals in Europe. So Kellogg's reformulated their cereals so that they can legally sell them overseas.
Wow.
And then following a petition to get the BHT out of it, Kellogg's removed it from several brands like Rice Krispies, but it still uses it several years later in the Frosted Flakes still, despite selling it BHT free in other parts of the world. It makes no sense. Why don't these companies just sell the same safer products everywhere? I'll tell you why. Europe takes a precautionary principle approach towards food additives that are potentially risky. They ban or they add warning labels to these additives for their people. The US takes the opposite approach. It doesn't remove the additives from our food supply until they have been proven to be dangerous. And that can take years and a lot of red tape to get approved. So it literally means you're the lab rat. Americans are the lab rat. And the US government allows food companies to largely police itself, deciding which ingredients they're going to use, which chemicals they're going to use, which additives they're going to use, which ones are safe to add to their own products. That clearly isn't a wise approach, is it? Because if a company can get away with a cheaper ingredient, they're going to do it. Given a choice, they're always going to opt for the cheaper flavor enhancer, the cheaper color additive, the cheaper preservative, the cheaper genetically modified organism and ingredient. Even if these cheaper alternatives have negative health impacts, they're going to choose that route for the sake of profit over people.
It just made me sad.
What?
Like, I don't even want to talk. Like, we're aware of this. And the one thing that I can say about it is Americans as a whole is waking up to this.
Yeah. It's been like a trending thought here.
Yeah.
Like for the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. It's becoming more of a popular thought to like not eat these things
Yeah.
and try to avoid some of these crazy chemicals.
Yeah. Say what you want about the current administration. It's none of whatever. But I believe one of the reasons that this administration currently won was partly because RFK has been pushing and trying to get these dyes and stuff banned in America.
Yeah.
And even like us, we've shot more at Audi's because we learned that Audi's holds more of a EU food regulations, especially for our kids. That was one thing when we came home from the UK that we noticed. It was like, why? Why do we have to live like this?
Yeah.
Why do we have to be the lab rats for the world? And you see different things and you can't connect it, but we see things that he didn't talk about that we see now that you didn't see, 30, 40, well, probably longer than that.
All the sicknesses.
All the sicknesses. Kids developing sooner than what they should be.
Yeah.
We're so pumped full of chemicals and everything's supposed to be so normal and times is changing and stuff like that, but we know that's not the case. We know that there's something very wrong with the American diet. Somebody told me that you can go to the UK, and they was saying that they went to the UK or moved, not the UK, to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they went, but they lived there for 6 weeks. Their diet did not change. They said they was not on a diet. If anything, they ate more. They lost weight.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of these things, like Americans are constantly dealing with something, whether it be their thyroid, overactive, hormonal imbalance, but I feel like at an excess rate.
Yeah.
Stuff that chemicals would seriously affect.
Mm-hmm.
It blows.
It's more than just the food too, though. So it's the products too, like hair products, showering stuff, like everything is different. Like that's one thing. When we go on our next trip, I want to research some shampoos and like literally go buy shampoo over there, see if I like any of them.
You guys ask us like, would we move to the UK? And when we're talking about history and stuff like that, it's fun to think of just moving there and exploring. But in reality, if there was a case to actually make us move, this would be the strongest one.
Yeah.
Because just that idea that, not saying that anything would, but that idea that chance might be lower, that maybe we would live 60, 70 years and see our grandchildren, as a case to, from even the food that we eat, 50, 55, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that will happen, because I know people who drink Coca-Cola and that's all the cocaine keeps them alive. It's 95, 100 years old, you know? But that would be the strongest case, would just be that right there. And I'm hoping and pleading, if you're an American, these are things that we need to take notice. We stop buying things from the store because of that fact. We just, anything we see with the yellow, what is it, yellow dye 15?
No. 6? I don't know.
One of them. Basically, we stay away from yellow dye, and we stay away from red 40. We don't like those things. Those things are not in this house. But see, the GMO thing, you go to Walmart, anything made from a vegetable or anything like that, corn, tortillas, anything that you would buy on a normal day is loaded full of GMOs.
It's so hard. You really can't avoid it here. You'd be pretty much down to eating nothing.
No, you can. You can avoid it. But if you go to an American grocery store, you will see that we have normal ones, like our everyday that we buy, which is loaded full of GMOs and pesticides and everything else that will affect your body negatively. And then you have organic. And a piece of corn might be, you could get 4 pieces of corn for $1, right? And then the organic corn is $2 per corn.
Mm-hmm.
For a normal family, that's not sustainable. It's not, because you get, the more expensive it is, what is it, $1 for 1 bell pepper? But then the organic will sell a pack of 3 for 6 or 7.
Yeah, and anything that's healthier is way more expensive.
So it literally forces. So think of it like this right here. The poorer you are in America, the more you're going to be affected by these chemicals, because the rich people have grocery stores like what's it called, Whole Foods, that you cannot buy these. Wealthy people can go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, something like that. And realistically, the saving grace to this country with that would be Aldi's.
Yeah.
Because that's an affordable grocery store that people can shop at and not get all these chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I say that they have everything, not all these chemicals? No. They're not still as strict as the EU. There's some things that I've seen in the store, but for the most part, ever since we came back from the UK, we make it kind of a hobby that we look at the ingredient list.
Yeah. But the UK, the Aldi's does have options, like they have something that looks exactly like an Oreo, but it's not Oreo brand.
Yeah.
And then they have, I forgot what the other couple snacks that we buy them is, but there's other snacks that look exactly like something, but they are Aldi's brand and their ingredient list is completely different.
Yeah. I don't trust it. I don't. That's one thing. Don't get me wrong. I love America. It's my home. I was born here. And this is not a rant against America, but this is a thing that we know that we need to do better. And if you're an American, watch this video. Follow him. Look at other things, because there's a lot of things that it's going to take us to put our foot down and stop buying and stop taking in order for them to do this.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's...
Maybe we could start a conversation on Discord about this.
Yeah. If you want to talk to us, Discord links below. You got a story you want to share, you don't think, because we get a lot of comments, but if you want to make sure we see it, you got something important you want to tell us, join our Discord. It's free. And join our Patreon. And you can see the making of this video, because as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to talk to that. I'm Richard.
And I'm Tiffany.
And that was ridiculous.